It is time to make the sound to summon the stream. Wah, 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 wah. That is the wrong monitor. That is the correct monitor. All right. Greetings, dear viewers. I'm Coil Quickcard, and welcome back to the Community RPG Maker Project, where I am very close to actually finishing this entire part of the game. We have been working on this, specifically Wallachia and the stuff around Wallachia, for nearly 6 months. And now, all that is left is to have the players go inside this building, have this building connect to one last dungeon area, which is finally going to conclude with a battle against the False Hydra and the end of the adventures in Wallachia. The Graveyard Gardens map is also now finally finished. This is the gardens in their full glory. It ended up being, a bit less grand than I had initially suspected. But I think it's pretty good. Hello there, Cole. I see you over there in chat. Think I'll make the achievements as a checklist on a website, because I already know setting up all those variables will be a nightmare. It definitely it definitely is rough to implement an achievement system into an RPG Maker program, unless it's something you have planned from the very start and are actively including in all the various things you're copy-pasting throughout the entire event. Hello, Aubrey. Idea. One of the player characters questions why the meat kind of looks like ice cream in the meat rooms. We can do that. That's easy enough to do. Let's see. Right here. There's actually a natural choke point. The player will have to step on this tile in order to progress. So we can just add a quick event here. Event touch below player. Activation, turn on the self switch. And we'll have Malter comment. What is that stuff? And Elena, with her fun optimism, can comment. It looks like ice cream. And Thatcher can respond with, I'm pretty sure that's flesh. You know a connection is bad when you have to set the stream to 144. Oh, I'm so sorry, Cole. That sucks. That really does suck. Pretty sure that's flesh. Why does the mine look like Neapolitan ice cream? I think this manages to get the point across. And Elena will do that. Okay. So the first thing that we are going to do today is we're actually going to play through the stuff that we have done so far. And we're going to get to this save point inside of the Grim Furnace, fight the boss, see the event after the boss, and then close this out again. We'll run back and we'll save again. Because I haven't actually done a full test of everything after the armory. So that means, like, the first part of the undermines, the infected mines, the Grim Furnace. I haven't done, like, a connected test of all of these parts yet. So, let's get going and take some notes along the way. Now, the bosses themselves have been thoroughly tested. So the bosses we're actually going to skip. But we want to make sure that all the events are nice. I love being a game dev. I can make a sniper enemy that has a 75% crit chance. Yes, you can. Grah! Look out! Okay. Then we have the fight against the strange zombie. And we're just going to drop our debug code 321. Which ends the fight. Oh, right. Hold on. I do think it's reasonable that the players will be casting enrichment in any of, like, the boss fights, just to double their reward of bottle caps. So I am going to do that first. Malter, you are up. And now we issue debug code 321. Okay. That was no ordinary zombie. Whatever it was, it's gone now. Let's keep going. Keep on going. So, I am basically going to be, like, speeding my way through this event. I know it's important, emotional, all that stuff. But I've already shown this off before. I really just want to keep going to the other side of it. I keep thinking of this bit where after making obscure reference to a game, it will get outdated. The other PC will be pissed off at the game devs. That doesn't... I mean, it's doable, but that would basically have to be everything. Every reference gets dated eventually. Like, eventually Pepsi's not going to exist anymore. A book? Wait, what is all this? Looks like a bunch of papers have been tucked inside. I just want to read fast enough that I actually say all the words and I make sure all my spelling and grammar is right. Diagrams, mapped indexes. There's a letter 2. What does it say? It's... Well, go on. You know... I'm starting to think we're actually going to win this. We need to get this to the captain. But where are we? We were going up for a while. We must be back on the surface. Party's back together. Doesn't let you go back down the elevator. The storehouse entrance is functional. Elena... How'd you get in there? Oh, where to begin? Actually, you should probably just call the captain. There's a lot we all need to talk about. Player characters are getting picked off at the game decks because of a stupid thing they added of your choice. I don't really want the characters breaking the fourth wall. If we start introducing fourth wall breaks into this project, it's going to go even more off the rails than it already has. So we are all in agreement then. And hundreds of documents hidden away in the temple just as the book suggested. Everything seems to support what Mr. Bones has told us. Own investigations had the same result. Seems all of this is true. I'm still hesitant to trust all of this. Map Ledger's reports plans some dating decades ago. Take 100 scribes years to forge all this, and for what purpose? When we are already so we can mentioned the armory has enough supplies to strengthen our entire force. Why didn't you come forward with all of the sinner bones? I did. The third time I sat in a meeting similar to this one with the ever-dwindling leadership of this once proud city. We sit, we talk, we plan. People die, and then people forget. You may have an advantage this time, though. Elena, will you please read the letter you found? Yes, Captain, a hymn. My beloved Valakia, if you have found these words, then I'm dead and forgotten in life. I was Alana, a Ceruvian in service to the Temple of Death. 10 days ago, I set out to subdue the vile horror that has decimated our people, armed with an ancient blade of tremendous power. The Hydra in red, because that was very important. Hydra stalked me from the shadows. I feigned ignorance of his presence. When I finally struck, I was more than ready. I dealt the monster a dreadful wound. Beast fled, and now I was the stalker. I tracked it through the darkness of the lowest caverns, assailing it whenever it slipped in range. I knew that it was trying to lead me into traps, pitfalls, collapsing tunnels, old magical wardens, dens of vicious beasts. It failed to catch me unawares every time. I believe I have 2 spaces there. Double space after the word unawares. False Hydra fled deeper into ruins older than I ever knew existed. That might be a double space as well. I don't know. The kerning is a little off. Twisted mausoleum beneath the necropolis. There, I fought the beast once more, and we were both gravely injured. We both fled that battlefield into the dark and myself toward the surface. I thought I might manage to make it, but now I can feel some vile venom from that thing burning its way through my body. I will not survive for much longer, and if I return to the surface for healing, I feel the sources of good from others. I have bound the only passage into the most ancient ruin with the greatest steel still within my power. I cast the ritual tools into the grim furnace, where I hope they will remain until another can take up my task. The seal will not hold back the Hydra for long. To be honest, the double space bug kind of fits the scene as they must be traumatized. There's really no need for it, though. Like, it doesn't add anything. It's unnecessary. For myself, I have one last hope. I know some little of the magics by which the Lich priests preserve their minds beyond death. I intend to attempt the same, though I expect it'll fail. In case I do, I am making a note of everything I can think might be important and grabbed as many documents from the library as I can carry. That much at least will reach the surface. I hope it will be enough. Is that everything? There's one more line. Go on, please. And my sister Elena knows I love her, and I'm proud of her. We need to plan our next steps. Please excuse me. There you go. Spelling for scene. Should we leave her be for now? Then we have the emotional scene. So far, everything's working good, which is not surprising because I first tested this stuff weeks ago. But I wanted to have all of it play out so I can actually advance my test save up through the new content. Okay. There were multiple instances of double spaces. Look for double spaces in the letter reading. I'm not surprised they went in there, since that was basically copying pasting a copy-paste. Add a wait in Elena's scene until the ellipses appear, so she is in position. Why do I want to drink that river? Because it looks wonderful. So just let it out. Whatever it is you're feeling, you'll feel better. There are no words for this feeling. I understand. I had a wife before all this. I don't remember her, but the signs are obvious. I was 70 when I died, old enough to have had children that were grown. I don't remember if I ever did. I can't even guess how much has been taken from me, from all of us. What are we supposed to do? The only thing we can do, keep moving forward. We do what we can to stop anyone else from going through this. Remove one down command from Elena scene. Mr. Bones' camera movement. We carve every bit of our rage into that damn monster. This is over. Will you tell me about my sister? It would be an honor. Check all of the ellipses commands in Elena scene. Several of those were not waiting when they should have. Meeting continued long into the night. What is this furnace that was mentioned? The furnace is a great incinerator where the refuse and unusable remains are disposed of. I'm sorry, Cole. You'll always be able to catch it again on a VOD, though, at least. How very efficient. It is a purely practical thing, you must realize. It is not meant to be pleasant. And this Lana threw something important into the furnace. Sealing tools. Implements used to create and control powerful wards. We'll need them if we intend to reach the old ruins without waiting for a team of accomplished mages to bring down the wards with brute force. Were they not destroyed? The furnace was not running at the time. They stopped fueling it when the attacks first began. It was assumed that we would need all the dead we could to get to oppose the threat. Say let the beast rot in whatever pit it has been trapped in. We've lost enough already. It won't stay trapped. It will heal and it will find a way back. Perhaps by waiting until the barrier falls. Perhaps by seeking or making other tunnels. What are the ruins she was talking about? The old history of Wallachia is... I'm sorry, I do not know much, but I'll tell you what little I do know. The first necromancers were not good people. They practiced their art dangerously and for dark purposes. Their experiments were twisted and insane. Time passed, their numbers grew, and settlements on the surface grew with them, merchants and farmers to support the growing numbers. Eventually, the dangerous and the evil died or killed each other off in their darkened shrines deep below. The smarter and better ones remained, turning their arts to more productive pursuits. A tireless labor and defensive force, better mastery of medicine and healing, ways that the wisdom and will of the living could cheat death. And so Wallachia became a place that revered the light and the dark, life and death in equal measure. The lairs of the old death cultists were sealed, along with whatever threats their madness had conjured into existence. A small number of archaeological expeditions have explored the area over the centuries, but never ventured far, and that is where the monster is now stuck. I think it is likely that the false Hydra may have come from those depths in the first place, but that is only a guess. Right, so we gotta get in there and put it down. Until the false Hydra is dead, Wallachia will never again know true peace. How can we get inside the furnace? The lift he took back to the surface can also go to the mines underneath the necropolis. The mines lead into the furnace so they can be efficiently fueled. So if you head down to the mines, find a way into the furnace and get those magical tools back. Alright, Elena, you have your mission. Take your new allies and find this place. It will take time to reorganize and brief the city guard, but we will be there for the final battle. Mr. Bones, are you able to command the remaining undead forces? I'm sorry, but I do not believe so. I was never trained in those arts. Traditionally, the Lich Priests were only taught those arts after their deaths, and my own death was not planned, shall we say. And the only Lich Priest left after my failed assault had more important matters to occupy his time. And where is that priest now? I do not know. I assume that the Hydra got him as well. One morning he was missing from his study, and I have not seen him since. I'm more than ready. This is my city, and I'm taking it back. As a representative of the Pepsi Corporation, you have my support as well. Now I've got to keep an eye on young Ryu here. Thank you. Your bravery is going to save us all, I think. I do have one final question before we end our discussion. Elena, did you find the sword Alana had used? You would know it easily. It was a mighty blade with a gem-encrusted hilt and shimmering bottle-cap steel blade. No, we didn't see anything like that. I see. Please do not consider this a priority, but if you happen across it, could you please return it to me? Valuable, is it? Priceless. I looted it from the tomb of King Leornan. The first king of Wallachia, the Sunlight Warrior? You desecrated his tomb? You were that desperate? More than you can imagine. I thought its magic might be enough to give Ilana an advantage. Very well. That is a matter we will have to address when all of this is done. I'm fully prepared to accept the consequences of my actions. To the mines, then. Shops in Wallachia all have new, stronger items for sale. Okay, so we're through that scene. Let's make a few quick adjustments with debug code 003. Okay, that's finally all good and done. Temple basement. Alright, so let's fix the kerning. The first note was... I was right, that is a double space. That's a double space. This is also a double space. That's a double space. The entire letter section had to be copied and pasted twice, bit by bit. So I am not surprised that there are some spacing issues. I will read chat as soon as I am done with this. I really want to keep my focus on this first. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay. Can we give Elena a pet necromancy mouse? I mean, maybe after this, but typically keeping dead things as pets is not well looked upon. Quill, Luke's friend I told you about gave me an idea, which are like TF2 reference fights. No, Heroes Cave has reference fights. I don't know Heroes Cave, and I never played much of TF2, so you'll have to expand on that. Quill, can you help me in naming? I'm always happy to help you with naming. If you have specific things, I'm always happy to help with that. Dumb headcanon time. Elena paints in their spare time. Paints in their spare time. Thatcher often knits Ryu's hats and jackets. I love both of those. I like both of those a lot. Okay. So we want to add a 1.25. Let's do a 1.5 second wait period here. There we go. frustration. Wait. Okay, so Mr. Bones moves down. We remove an extra one of these. Here we go. We didn't have a wait command here, which is why we got the silence command early. We can add a slight pause here. And a slight pause here. And we need a full second pause here. And a pause there. Okay. So that should take care of all of that. In the Discord I told you about, Heroes gave a post-cave dungeon. Yeah, you did mention that. Malter has an alcohol resistance, like a fruit bat, aka they can almost never get drunk. This thing I need help in is naming the elite form of the Skele Sniper enemy. Skele Snipers are robot sniper skeletons. That elite form is enemy with a 75% crit chance. Oh, then the name is easy. You call them Deadeyes. A Deadeye being a general term for an exceedingly accurate sharpshooter. Alright, now let's hit the shops. Okay. So there's a few things I want to test first. I think I already checked all the NPCs. Yeah, I've been around the block a few times. I have lots of interesting ideas. Elena can get a crystal blade, recurve bow. We're sitting on a crap ton of bottle caps right now. There we go. There's too many things in the world. You should never feel bad for not thinking of something. The world is just very, very complicated. We're actually... I think we're gonna save the rest of the money to get some Pepsi. We definitely need more Pepsi Monsters. There we go. Okay, I am broke again. Yeah, exactly. It's a quintuple pun. It's perfect. Alright, first things first. Let's adjust all of our gear. Rio, of course, doesn't get any gear because he is a dragon. Rio's different ability forms look different as the horns. Yeah, they do. You feel like Rio would act like a cat? That's kind of been my headcanon as well. Okay. So, I need to go do a quick check here. Just check a few more NPCs. Okay. And I need to see what happens if you try to re-enter Wallachia through the abandoned temple again. Because I'm pretty sure that the player could end up kind of stuck if they retry to enter the city from the water terminus. I am still not really a big fan of how this map turned out. I just don't think it worked. It just don't think it looks especially good. Are you kidding? Did I actually future-proof it? Did I already foresee this possibility and make sure that the boat would already be on that side? Oh my god. No! I did! I remember what I did. I had active boats on each side. Oh. Okay, but that kind of needs to be corrected because the two boats probably shouldn't be... Oh, wait, no. You can't go up high enough to ever notice it. Perfect! Okay, I did already future-proof that. Nice. Alright, in that case, let's actually head down into the dungeons. So first we're going to check the armory, make sure the map is looking fine. Okay. I feel like the reason Rhea can't equip hats and armor is because they're way too oversized. Well, he can't equip them because he's a dragon. And generally, if you make a suit of armor or a helmet that's going to fit a human, it's not going to fit a dragon. Also, the way the enemy tiering in my game works is the other balls. All enemies have a tier 1, tier 2, and elite form. Balls only have tier 1 and elite forms. Some elites, like Krakens, are bosses. I see. Alright, let's head down to the mines. I will actually be right back. This will only take a second. And then we're actually going to be doing proper exploring of the new maps I've been building over the last couple of weeks. Okay, I'm back. Just imagining Ryu wearing a cat costume. He is ultimately a fully sapient living being, though. Alright, now let's do the exploration. I have worried that the enemies in this area may be... Ah. I see. Okay, so the ropes are climbable. Yeah, I know pet costumes are real things. I just wouldn't say put one on a, like, 13-year-old, which is probably the mental level that Ryu realistically has, cognitively speaking. Okay. So... we've got some issues. Do we have the same problem here? No, we do not. Okay. So I fixed that on one map, where you're running the inside. So what's the Undermines doing? Undermines is using the dungeon map. I think the easiest way to block it is to just put some invisible events here. Here we go. Just put a blocking event there, blocking event here, blocking event there, blocking event there. That's probably enough to stop the characters from being able to walk onto the walls. Alright. And I guess this is where we're going to find out if I overtuned this or not. Stone Fairies, Cave Rats. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Let's go for the prayers. Malter. Good job, Elena. Okay. Not bad. Couple rock candies. So I want to do a full treasure run. Okay, same enemy group again. Malter! Let's go for the Baja... Oh, Baja Blast is single target. Okay. Ryu, Fire Breath. Prayer time. Good job, Ryu. Good job, Elena. That prayer move is so damn good for tanking. Bottle cap ore. This is the same enemy group again. Thatcher. Let's go for healing. Molten Knight. Elena, what do you mean by let me cook? I only brew. This tier system also makes it so Outgun Kelp and Tangling Kelp are counted as ball enemies, but there's only so many ways you can make Kelp enemies threatening. Come on, Ryu. Okay. What on earth does rock candy do? Greatly increases the chance of being targeted. Okay. The reanimated dog, the cave rat, a stone fairy, and a necro crab. Yeah, okay, that's definitely a pack of enemies. Thatcher, drop a heal. Very good. Elena, you're on prayer duty to tank. Ooh. The Cavern Crab can inflict the Mortified status effect, which is something that was suggested for the project many, many months ago, and finally integrated. Ooh, wait. What did Elena learn? Oh, Conversion Strike. A sacred attack that can force the target to attack its own allies for one turn. Oh, I forgot! I gave her my mind control ability. Oh, yeah! That's a fun one. That's such a fun status effect. Yeah, screw that. Okay, we are still really running into too many enemies here. Alright, let's go for prayer. Okay, that's fine. Fire Breath. I just had a curse damage of Ryu, Maltermite, Thatcher, and Elena somehow showing up in Cole's game. What do we have over here? Okay, Bottle Cap Ore. Okay, we are absolutely decreasing the enemy encounter rate. Decrease enemy encounter rate in mines by adding 20 steps. We're getting like twice as many encounters as I wanted to get here. Well, got an enemy idea. An enemy that is a bacteria and can clone itself via mitosis. That's a good idea. Malter, can you just go ahead and prepare like 6 growth shots? And I think I also need to add a cost to prayer. Add a cost to activate prayer. because it doesn't reduce anything until its second turn. So a nice cheap cost would probably be fine. Oh, an idea for... Okay, yeah, we're going to add that. Bacterial enemy that can clone itself. Okay. Yep, we're gonna use that idea. And we're going to let this fight go on a little bit. Just so we can all recover some health. Let's guard. Guard. Elena, stop praying. Oh. Using it again is supposed to stop praying. Okay, we're gonna have to look into that. Make sure that Elena can toggle praying. And let's just have everybody guard, so we can all regenerate a little bit of health. Okay, that's really not enough for that to be practical. Okay. Thatcher learned a new ability. Thatcher learned Barrier. Protect an ally with a magical barrier that may evade attacks. Lasts several turns, but may break when hit. Bottle cap ore. We found the magic hat. The magic hat is for Thatcher. While wearing this magical hat, Thatcher gains the spell Magic Hat. Pull one of 5 possible things out of the magic hat. That's right, the magic hat is in the game now. The abandoned plushie with bones and meat that was a failed attempt at a necromancer. It's always dripping and moves around like a lizard. Okay, so the big problem is the fairy. Oh god, that hurt. And I was just saying the big problem is the fairy. Alright, let's try using our magic hat. Thatcher draws from the hat and pulls out a rabbit. Okay. Rabbit deals damage to a single target. Go, Thatcher! Use Magic Hat! Pulls out a flower! Which is a big heal on everybody. I think it's 50% healing for the whole party. Conversion Strike! Nice. Also, I just love the idea of Rhea wearing a hat. Quill, is the way to have an enemy summon more enemies is a boss? Or just like an in-battle effect? I can show you after I'm done exploring the mines. I think I need more enemy varieties here. Need more enemy variety in the Undermines. A way to have an enemy boss move enemies? Is that what you mean? A boss a way to have an enemy move enemies? Axolotls. I do not have an asset for axolotls, but that sounds awesome. Ah! Change the text for conversion strike. A way an enemy to summon more enemies is a move or just a battle effect? I can show you ways to do it. But first we're gonna get all the treasures in this cave. Okay. Alright. Yeah, let's go back up to the surface. Let's rest in the inn, let's save, and let's fix this map a little bit. That enemy encounter rate is way too high. And it does not bode well for my designs. This part of the game, the enemies are supposed to be very tough, but that effect is supposed to be lessened by just having fewer of them. So let's make some changes. Undermines. Encounter steps are at 30. Encounter steps in the infected mine are also at 30. That's absurd. It should be like 80 in the infected mine, and the undermines should be like 65. There's actually supposed to be 5 separate troop encounters, so really we were just getting unlucky there. But we could have that group, that group, that group, that group, or that group. So we were just kind of getting unlucky. The flesh dungeon can have a lot more variety. Newcastle Big Boy could be a good enemy. I don't know what a Newcastle Big Boy is. Big Spire that's also an animal. A real animal. Okay, so here's how you make enemies that appear. Let's say I have 3 felines in this battle. So if you right-click on them and you select Appear Mid-Battle, the enemies are actually part of the troop, but they are hidden. And then you can have conditions where you have enemy appear commands. And then you just select which enemy you want to appear. It's also possible to have a skill which calls a common event, and then the common event can also have an enemy appears command, and you just have to make sure that you have the number of the enemy properly set if you want to do it via an enemy move rather than via a troop command. Yeah, so if you wanted to set it by health, then it would be very easy. Forest health is 50% or below. Then you would have the first one appear, and then we would just copy that, change the percent down to 25, and just change that to have the third one appear. See? Just like that. Boom. Now we have a fight where more of them appear as it goes. So it's really just that easy to make enemies appear. You just have to make sure that they're selected to appear mid-battle. So you just right-click on them to do that. The Newcastle Big Boy or Giant Australian Spider. I mean, that's doable. Okay, so we need a cost to activate prayer. So the text on prayer needs to be different. It may just be best to have no message when you activate prayer, and have all the messages come from the common event and the state application. Blank is praying. Blank is no longer praying. Prayer activation. If prayer active is on, then you apply Holy Inspiration. And then you turn prayer active to off. So when you're doing this, if the switch is not on, then it's turning on prayer active. The toggle should work. Is the toggle working? Prayer. Okay. Okay. So it did turn off the state. Okay. So I think the only problem is that we need to apply the state here instead. So we apply the Holy Inspiration effect here. Alright, let's check that against an easier enemy, like the egg. Stray dogs and cats in the mine. Could also be the Aerodromus, which is a bird that lives in caves. I think I'm pretty good for the enemies that are in the mine. At this point, I'm really just testing it to make sure that it works. Yes, the bacteria enemy could potentially fit here, but I've already designed this area. At this point, I'm just testing it. Okay. Alright. So we're actually going to have to start applying the messages here. We'll apply these as text messages in the battle. Just to... I thought you wanted more variety. I was worried that I didn't have enough troop types set up. But apparently I'm fine. Although this is why this particular one was appearing twice as much as the other. The mines themselves are a very short map. You're not here for long. This is really just the first part of 3 connected map areas. So it's not going to feel too egregious that there's like 5 types of troops here. I'm taking all these ideas and sort of putting them away for future use. They will get used. At this point, I'm really just trying to test what's been developed. Okay, so we have triple dogs. The dogs all buff themselves. Let's activate prayer. Elena started praying. She activates her prayer state. That's good. Thatcher, magic hat. Penguin deals big damage to a single target. That works. Nice. Alright, everybody hold off. I want to make sure that this turns off. Elena, stop praying. Good. Malter... Good. Does not have the ammo changing skill active in battle. I thought I had a way to change his ammo out of battle. I might not have properly integrated that into this version yet. 2 bottles of Pepsi Monster. Bottle cap ore. This feels so much better for the encounter rate. Okay, here's another new pack. Elena! I did not change the text on Consurgent Strike. And I did not add an activation cost to prayer. Okay. Good. That all works. Magic hat! A fairy! Which restores stamina to everybody. So we've seen 4 of the different things. I'm not going to be adding anything more to the magic hat. There's already 5 different varieties of things that can be pulled out of it. And the more things we add to Magic Hat, the less useful it's going to be overall. The less reliable it's ever going to be to get the effect that you want. And especially variable, very conditional effects like that, like pulling out something that has bonus damage under a very specific situation, is going to be very unreliable. And because you don't ever get to see the descriptions of the things that you're pulling out of the hat, you would never even know that the vulture does double damage to stuff with exposed bones. But we do want to buff the penguin more. Alright, let's move on. You know what? Screw this fight. Oh my god. Can you please get the hell out of here? Seriously? Seriously? Leave, you morons. Okay. This is much more like what I was hoping for. Few encounters, but very high impact. Since most of the places we've done so far have been very low impact enemy fights overall. So this part of the game is like the difficulty spike part. Alright, part 1 of the Undermines is now done. Let's move on to part 2. Good tea. We're just gonna debug walk through the walls. And here we are. Infectious biological material has been spreading through the area ahead, and extermination has been scheduled. Please proceed with caution. Welcome to the infected mine. What is that stuff? It looks like ice cream. I'm pretty sure that's flesh. Blech. Alright, we're in the flesh dungeon. So let's explore and find all the stuff in the flesh dungeon. Here is our first new enemy type, the flesh spawn, which are mostly about absorbing health. Thatcher, why don't you drop an ice storm? Nice. Go, Malter. Elena, conversion strike. Why do I want to give the flesh spawn head pats? Because they're probably very pleasantly fleshy. There we go. And in here, you can actually start getting the bottle cap ore level 2. A few treasures like 1,000 bottle caps. A special bottle of Pepsi Blue. Pepsi Blue, a rare bottle of vintage Pepsi with an allegedly blueberry flavor, which provides some rather significant stat increases. Oh! Right, did I ever... no, I didn't. Oh. This is... My god! It's the latest of the Pepsi Corporation! It's Zalterzite! I think Aubrey just wants pets in the game. Yeah, basically. Alright, here is Zalterzite. Let's activate Growth Shot. Justice Punch! Fire Breath! Why do I feel like Rhea is trying to prevent themselves from eating the flesh? They might be. And Thatcher has Zenith! Damn, that move hurts. Would you mind drinking a bottle of Pepsi, please, Malter? Ryu, Fire Breath. You are absolutely correct, Cole. Pepsi Blue is one of the defunct Pepsis from the Wikipedia. I took the most interesting ones and I put them on a list for future use in the project. Pepsi Blue was, in fact, a real Pepsi brand which was retired. Mostly because people hated it, and its allegedly blueberry flavor. Damn, this thing has a lot of health. Crystal Pepsi is already in the game. I've actually got several in my thing right now. Pepsi AM? I believe that was another one on the list. We actually have Crystal Pepsis. They basically work as remedies or panaceas. They just remove negative status effects. Justice Punch! Also, who the hell let Walter cook? Alright, we found expired Pepsi and a Necrid Heart. So, expired Pepsi... a foul-smelling substance that reduces the random encounter rate by half. So now we're even less likely to run into enemies. Anyway, let's keep exploring. Maybe we'll run into a very special enemy somewhere. Keep misreading Walter White and Walter White. Yeah, Walter White was the inspiration. Well, I assume. The Alter-ite association was not my idea. That's something someone else came up with. Fun fact, I'm drinking Pepsi right now. Nice! Hopefully it is not expired or blue. Very good. Elena is now level 14. Bottle of Diet Pepsi. Let's keep going. We really do need to keep the stamina up. The enemies here are very powerful. More bottle cap ore. More bottle caps. I used to actually have a really significant frame rate issue in this in this dungeon. I'm glad I was able to fix it. Does Ryu not like hats? Ryu does not wear equipment. I can put a hat on him later, but it also means adjusting the sprite if you want the hat to visually appear. And if I change one Ryu sprite, I have to change the Ryu sprites for every single different form of Ryu. So anything that visually alters Ryu is really difficult. So, here's another fight. Rock.png is returning from the Volcano Dungeon, and it works just like before. It takes no damage, and if you hit it, it hurts you back. And it doesn't mess around with its damage. But luckily, as long as you just defeat all the other enemies, you realize you can just walk away from rocks. And then you win. And that's how you defeat Rock.png. This map is fantastic. I'm really pleased with how this turned out. Alright, I am going to walk around until we find a wild Amogus. Come on, we want to find a wild Amogus. Man, that expired Pepsi is really doing its job. Oh, here's another enemy you guys haven't seen. The Infested Spellbook. Alright, let's take out the Infested Spellbook. Ryu, do your thing. There. You realize you can just walk away from rocks. Cool. We even found some bottle cap ore. Alright, I'm gonna give it 3 more chances to find a wild Amogus. Just because, honestly, it's really fun when you run into a wild Amogus. But if we don't get a wild Amogus in the next 3 encounters, then we're just gonna move on. It also doesn't help that the enemy encounter rate right now is very, very low. There we go. We'll just take off the expired Pepsi for now. Hey, there it is! It's a wild Amogus! Okay, can I actually defeat it in time? Red is acting kinda sus. Let's go for Wing Buffet. It didn't hit. Okay. Let's try Elegy of Death. Okay, that did not do much. Bottle Cap Rain. A full 2,040 damage. Elena, use Lucky Slash. Damn it! Come on, we gotta kill the Amogus before it runs away. Enrichment! Ice Storm! Yes! If you can beat an Amogus, it's a lot of experience and a lot of bottle caps. Also, basically everybody just hit level 14, so that's great. Let's proceed to the next area. This way, the furnace fuel intake. This must be the way to the furnace. Welcome to the Grim Furnace. I have an idea for the hat thing. The hat is on a different layer than Ryu so that you can change the hat and not have it change. That's not a thing I can do with a character sprite in the default. I would have to create an event that constantly moves to every location that the player is all the time. On every single map in the entire game. Okay, the Unburning Bones. We're gonna go Dragon Shift Blue for now. Okay, Malter, let's go. So there's a few new enemy types here in the Grim Furnace. Nice. Also want to make sure I check the treasures. 2 bottles of Crystal Pepsi. Let's go this way first. For a chest. 3 bottles of Pepsi. So far, the Grim Furnace map is working. This map, because there's not actually much walking that you have to do, has a much higher encounter rate. And I think I designed 3 enemies that can show up here. So first we're gonna go up here. Here's the cat someone suggested I add. Meow. What's a cat doing here? Here, kitty kitty. There's still some hot air coming out of the vents. It must be enjoying the warmth. Kitty! So yes, there's a cat. We're gonna need this. Found a heavy-looking key. So that should give me the furnace key, which it does. Good. So now we're going to deactivate this. And that goes over here for some treasure. The welding spritzel. Oh, I forgot about this one. Right. The upgraded weapon... for Malter, which he's not able to use. Deals fire damage, increases critical rate by 4%. Okay, we're going to have to fix the welding spritzel. Okay, fix the welding spritzel. Here's the living flame, another new enemy type. Well, do you think there's a way to make a skill tree in RPG Maker? I was playing Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope not long ago and thought it'd be cool. You can make the skeleton of one. But without using plugins, I don't know how to design custom menus. So that's the problem. That's my primary limitation with RPG Maker, is that I don't know how to make custom menus. But, yeah, I mean, it would be easy enough to, like, design the mathematical... To design, like, you know, the events behind a skill tree. I just don't know how to represent one. Okay. You know, I'm gonna be completely honest here. Like, I don't try to be, like, you know, overly arrogant or braggerly or anything, but I absolutely love what I did with the Grim Furnace. I am so proud that I got this dungeon to work. And to work well. I am so goddamn proud of this map. It took so much work to make it function, and it does. And I'm so happy that it does. Okay, so that leads over here. Drop some bottles of stuff. Okay. Let's save there and let's make some changes. First off, the welding spritzel. So, alright. Walter, all of his stuff is just qualifies as cat bows. Okay, so that solves that problem. The welding spritzel works. Next, we wanted to buff the penguin. So, the flower recovers HP. The pigeon deals damage to a target. The rabbit... No. The pigeon deals damage to all enemies. The rabbit does damage to one target, so we can make that stronger. The penguin does damage to one target, which we can actually make a fair bit stronger. And let's change the animation on that one. We'll just change it to like a water blast. That'll be fine. And then the fairy, which recovers MP for the entire party. So the penguin has been buffed. Next thing, prayer needs to have an activation cost. We'll just put that at 10. It's pretty modest, and the further the game goes, the more irrelevant paying 10 to activate it is going to be. And Conversion Strike, it will be Elena slashes at the enemy's soul. That will be the text for Conversion Strike. Okay, good. Alright, so there's really not much more we need to test today. I know today has mostly been testing and fixing, but so much of this needed to be tested and fixed. Okay. Let's equip the welding spritzel, which is really damn strong. So in this room, there should be no enemy encounters. So I'm just going to walk around for a while and make sure that there are no enemy encounters happening. And then we're going to go for the boss fight and the scene after the boss fight, and then we're basically done with testing for now. Then I'm going to design a little event. And we can start brainstorming the designs for the final part of the necropolis. Okay, yeah, there's definitely no enemies here. Wait, could this be? Looks like it could be some kind of magical tools. This must be what we were looking for. At last! What was that? Get down! It's coming from above! Boss time. The Dark Dragon. Okay, this thing is tough as hell. So, the first thing, we're going to transfer to green and give everybody resistance to physical attacks. And yeah, HP shuffling. First things first, we're going to go with enrichment. Holy hell, that hurt. Ryu doesn't like caffeinated drinks and prefers them flat, which angers Malter a lot. That's not a bad idea. Let's activate prayer. Oh. Character's health has been shuffled around. Yes, it certainly has. Let's go with Dragon Roar. Malter, we need Growth Shot. Elena. Bottle of Pepsi. Ryu. Damn, that attack hurts. Okay. Bottle opener? No effect. Okay, Thatcher... Let's go healing on Ryu. Elena! Justice Punch! So I boldly bought Sparks of Hope, because of the Raymond DLC. Ah. I feel like Bottle Opener works. No, okay. Thatcher, we're going to need your help here. How much does Ice Storm do? Okay, around 600. Lucky Slash? Malter. Good job, Elena. Dragon Lore. Thatcher. How about the... Pretty sure this one doesn't hurt as much. How much can Zenith do? Okay, 986. That's pretty good. Lucky Slash. Damn, this thing is tough. Okay, Ryu. Let's go a Dr. Pepper on Elena. Zenith. Malter. Wait, no, we've stopped regenerating. Crap. Okay, we need regeneration reapplied. At least we've still got our Dragon Guard. Dr. Pepper on Ryu. Okay, another shuffle. Growth Shot. Hello, noob gamers! Welcome to the stream. Zenith. Which game is this? This is a game that I've been building for the past year, using suggestions from viewers. Currently, we are in the process of testing the latest parts of the game. Okay, Dragon Roar, that's good. More Zenith. Oof. That attack hurts so bad. Justice Punch! Looks really fun. If you check the link in the description of this, you'll actually find a link where you can play this game. The most recent parts have not been added to the project yet, but there's still, like, you know, at least 2 or 3 hours of solid content there already that you can play. You can play it right in your browser, or you can download it. Yeah, it'll work on mobile. It'll work with touch. The only kind of like weird thing if you play on mobile is basically like a tap with 2 fingers is the equivalent of like a cancel or to open the menu. So yeah, it's a little awkward because sometimes you have to tap with 2 fingers in order to like cancel a selection or open the menu. But other than that, yeah, it works fine on mobile. Okay. We are still regenerating, but things are not looking great. I only have the 1 crude soda. Okay, Dragon Guard wore off. We need to get that reapplied as quickly as we can. Oh, okay, we're good, we're good, we're good. Dark Dragon was beaten. Uh, 1,000 XP, 6,000 bottle caps. A glowing gem falls from the dragon's body. Ryu's scales and claws have grown stronger. Ryu has learned Double Claw. Ryu can now shift into a Dark Dragon. What just happened? Ryu? Basically, the boy gets stronger from dragon parts. Really? That's pretty handy. Yes, it is. Ah! What now? I think our fighting knocked some stuff loose. Take cover! Where? Over here! Over here! Is it over? Eek! Well, that's convenient. Let's get the hell out of here before anything else goes wrong. Yeah, now we can head down to where the false Hydra is hiding. Okay, good. The door should be closed. The door is closed, that's good. Just for the sake of debugging, I'm gonna walk through the walls here and save. So you can climb the ladder. And this is how you climb out of the Grim Furnace. And you really should be able to walk here, but you aren't. I don't know why. But this is basically as far as has been developed so far. Okay, that all functions. Hello, Amadeus! Welcome to the stream. Okay, but coming back down here opens the door. Okay. Okay, okay, so the one thing that needs to be changed... Actually, we really need to not let the player back in here. Because none of the minecarts are in their proper positions. Okay. That should be relatively easy to fix. We'll just have it so that the door lock temp is now permanent. I mean, that's basically the easiest way to fix this, is to just make sure that this just stays locked from now on. So we'll just add some text to it. The ground shaking broke the door. Sure, why not? That works. Sure, the ground shaking broke the door. Door's broke, can't use it anymore. And the other part of the ascent... Good. Good. Okay, so now, why are we not able to walk through here? This should not be blocking the path. I don't know why this being here would prevent the player from being able to walk here. Is there something I'm missing in the tile set? That should have full passage. That should have full passage. Okay, this is why I think. I think I have a bunch of invisible tiles here that shouldn't be there. So let's see if that solves the problem. Yep, just walk through. Ground shaking broke the door. I can say that a little more naturally. Okay. Okay. Alright, that is the problem. There's a bunch of invisible blocks here. Yeah. You can actually see it. Places where there were invisible blocks before. And now we get rid of all of those. Okay. Why is that set to star? Passable under the top. No. Just... Okay, fine. That should make it work. I don't know why, but I feel like Ryu's favorite food is fish. As a Dark Dragon, Ryu now has access... Oh, I never designed Dark Breath. Oh. He does have Dark Double Claw, though, which attacks twice in a row. I think I designed the Dark Breath ability, and then I just didn't give it to Ryu. Okay. Now we can walk out of here without being stymied. Okay, perfect. So we got some changes to make here. Dark Breath. Okay, I did make Dark Breath, but I set it as a Red Dragon ability. That's why he wasn't able to use it. Okay. So we changed that to a Dark Dragon ability. Oh, hold on. I don't think I ever designed the... Yeah, the Dark Dragon Gem. Okay. So this is the Dark Dragon Gem. A purple gem containing the power of a long-dead dragon enables Ryu to become a dark dragon. This one dragon shifts to... nope, not that one. Not HP Jumble. Dragon shifts to dark. We need to adjust the furnace event so that it gives the Dark Dragon Gem... you received the Dark Dragon Gem. Ryu can shift into a Dark Dragon. Make sure that we actually give that item. Getting a little Pokemon feeling from watch this. Picturing Dark Ryu's eyes glow in the dark like a cat. Also, you can make suggestions. Is he making this all alone? I am the only person who is actually working on this project, as in, I'm the only person who has RPG Maker in front of them. No one else is actually working with this program, but I take suggestions from the chat in order to shape it. For instance, that is why Pepsi is now a central element in this game's mechanics, players, and also world. That is why, for instance, it has been decided that the entire continent is actually the corpse of a long-dead fish. That is why I have a town with a spire that reaches up into the heavens. Just basically everything you've seen. That is why our character's name is Ryu. That's why our second character is an old lady named Thatcher. So we think and you make. I do a lot of thinking as well. I do my best to try and integrate ideas in such a way that it doesn't break everything. So since we made some changes, I'm going to have to put a little fixing spot here. Just so that my my main testing save, has the Dark Dragon Gem as well, which it does, and it's the wrong color, but that's easy enough to fix. Dark Dragon Gem, that one. A black gem containing the power of a dead dragon. Not a long dead dragon, just a dragon. And the red dragon gem also shouldn't say long dead dragon because you, in fact, just killed it. Alright. So let's make sure this is proper now. Dark dragon, okay, we do have dark breath, and we've got double claw. He doesn't have Dragon Shift Dark, though. Did I make Dragon Shift Dark? Yes. Did I teach Dragon Shift Dark? That would be the next question. Oh, no, wait. He wouldn't have Dragon Shift Dark because he's literally in Dark Dragon mode, right? Okay. Alright, so let's make sure this all works. We go to Green Dragon mode. We have Double Claw. We don't have Dragon Shift Dark. Okay. If Dark Dragon is active, Okay, I think I made a switch for Dark Dragon being active and then never turned it on. So Dark Dragon active, yes. And we're going to have to adjust the test save again. Actually, we can just do that manually. It's a very slow... So why is your party a dragon and 3 humans? Well, I had the idea for the dragon shifting mechanic mulling around my head for quite some time before I started to work on this project. So I just decided to do it for the starting character. And then, since then... There we go. People just suggested characters, and so we ended up with Margaret Thatcher, apparently. A guy inspired by Walter White, who is a Pepsi-mancer, and uses a number of Pepsi and soda-based techniques. And also has a gun with ammo, and also... Yeah, there's a lot going on with Walter White. Anyway, let's test this. Green Dragon mode. So he does have Dragon Shift, blue, red, and dark. Dark, I'll have to change the icon. He has all the right moves. Test with blue dragon. He's got all the things. Test with red dragon. And he's got all the things. Okay. So the last thing we need to fix is just change Dragon Shift Dark to this orb here. You can also suggest a character. Absolutely. If you have ideas, throw them out. Try not to throw out anything that's just absurd and game-breaking, but almost anything within reason I will try to integrate into the project eventually. But it can take several weeks or up to a few months, up to like a couple of months to integrate a lot of ideas, simply given the rate at which the project develops. Okay. And we're going to have a scene for when the players leave the Grim Furnace. But right now I just want to get out there to test the last thing I've built before today. And yeah, also, we're trying to avoid fourth wall breaks at least. We can accept that this world has Pepsi in it without having to acknowledge that our world exists. We can just assume that this is also another world. I feel like Darkform Ryu can eat rotten flesh. Okay. So, I only designed... Right. Battle. There we go. Alright. So I only designed this event this morning. This is the entrance down to the lowest part of the necropolis. This is the Mystic Seal. So let's see if this event works to break the seal. This must be the seal. We should have everything we need to open it. Does anybody know how to use these things? Oh, just leave that to me. Okay, so that clearly did not work. So Elena, right. Okay, wait till Elena is done moving this part. Thatcher moves last, turns right, but I never had Thatcher move into position. So we need another move here of Thatcher move right and move up. We wait. Okay, let's try this again. Also, I don't know why, but I kind of want a village of friendly cats. You've basically pushed for cute pet-related things consistently, so that kind of tracks. Besides, we are going to get a village of cat people. That is going to happen. Well, I like how when I told the lore of my RPG to a friend, she was able to suspend her disbelief to magical living amulets, gods, and evil robots, but not to a 7-year-old clutching up parenting 2 babies. I can understand that. Okay. We're going to drop a debug save right here. There we go. Yes, and a village of croc people. Alright, let's try this again. Cole Aubrey, if you watch, I think you might enjoy this scene. This must be the seal. We should have everything we need to open it. Does anybody know how to use these things? Oh, just leave that to me. It's been a while since I tried a ritual like this. Let's see. Thatcher begins a low chant in unnatural tones. The words slip out of the mind as soon as they are heard. Some quality of the sounds themselves impossible to be remembered. You sure you know what you're doing, lady? Oh, hush you. This is delicate work. Thatcher's thin fingers trace delicate lines over the diamond-tipped rod, here stroking, there tapping, moving with a fluidity and haste that seems impossible at her age. She crushes the red bottle caps between her fingers in an action that might be strength, might be magic, or possibly both, and maybe neither at all. Her words grow louder and stranger still. Thatcher's chant lingers in the air as though written in bloody runes upon the air itself. Layers of echoing whispers and 100 voices building to a terrible crescendo. That should do it. Remind me not to ever piss you off, lady. Oh, I wouldn't worry. You're such a kind young man after all. Okay. There we go. So now the seal is broken, and then you'll be able to explore further. So there's clearly some adjustments that need to be made. Thatcher... We don't need to wait on this. Thatcher begins a low chant. The words slip out of the mind. Some quality of the sounds themselves impossible to remember. And we will show the animation Ideally, I would want the animation to be centered. Display type. Okay. So we're going to make a copy of this. We're going to apply it here. It's going to display on the target. No, not that one. I kind of like that one. Okay, so this is going to be seal break 1. And this is going to be seal break 2. So for the first one, we're going to apply seal break 1 on this event. Hush you, this is delicate work. Thatcher's thin fingers trace delicate lines over the rod's actually going to go to Mr. Bones. Thatcher's thin fingers trace delicate lines over the scroll, here stroking, there tapping, moving with a fluidity and grace that seems almost impossible. She crushes a pair of bottle caps between her fingers in an action that might be strength, might be magic, possibly both, and maybe neither at all. Her words grow louder and stranger still. Thatcher's chant lingers in the air as though written in shadowy runes. I don't like double using air here. Lingers in the area as though written in shadowy runes upon the air itself. Layers of echoing whispers in 100 voices building to a terrible crescendo. And then seal break 2. And we're going to make it a longer flash. We're going to make it a much longer flash. That should do it. And we're going to change these to not be weights. Okay. That should fix the event. Quill. Hold on. Let's see. I still need to start the Croc People sprites, but Steam is keeping my art program hostage because of bad connection. Leo would be the type to drink Pilk. Quill, also one of the characters in my game, will be awesome. Like, almost no damage or speed, only defense, until they hit level 50, where they unlock their super techniques, which are 6 moves. This thing is inspired by Punch-Out. The 6 moves are Toxic Uppercut, huge single target attack, Flurry Jabs, a single target multi-dig, Hyper Hooks, multi-target attack. So it's a tank. Alright. Calm Mind moves that heals the character to full. Super Guard a move that makes immune to damage for 1 turn. Power Flex a move that boosts all your stats. Okay, let's try this again. All these moves cost 100 TP. This is supposed to be the seal. We should have everything we need to break it. It's been a while since I tried a ritual like this. Let's see. Okay, this is still pretty awkward, honestly. Uh, moves left and turns right. Lena moves up and moves right. Thatcher moves right, and we wait for the completion. And then Thatcher moves up without waiting at the same time Elena starts to move. Sorry to say my internet stopped working. Could you please say if I can recommend a character and if there are any rules? You can recommend anything for this game. Characters, locations, objects, spells, abilities, enemies, narrative components. Just about anything you can suggest is fine. Typically, though, I don't want any fourth wall breaking. And it shouldn't be something that's just, like, completely broken. Because I'll just end up, adjusting it anyway. So, the more specific you can be, the better. The more reasonable it is, the more I'm able to do with it. It can be... Other than that, it's really just let your imagination go with you. We are not throwing in Aerie. I am not including characters from my other projects. That's another red line. I'm not going to cross the wires on those. Must be the seal. We should have everything we need. Okay, let's see the movement. It's been a while since I tried a ritual like this. Let's see. Thatcher begins a low chant in unnatural tones. The words slip out of the mind as soon as they are heard. Some quality of the sounds themselves impossible to remember. You sure you know what you're doing, lady? Oh, hush you. This is delicate work. Thatcher's thin fingers trace delicate lines over the scroll. Here stroking, there tapping, moving with a fluidity and grace that seems almost impossible. She crushes a pair of bottle caps between her fingers in an action that might be strength, might be magic, possibly both, and maybe neither at all. Her words grow louder and stranger still. Thatcher's chant lingers in the area as though written in shadowy runes upon the air itself. Layers of echoing whispers in 100 voices building to a terrible crescendo. That should do it. Remind me not to ever piss you off, lady. Oh, I wouldn't worry. You're such a kind young man after all. Okay, and then we're back. Alright, I think that works. Okay. Now, I do want to make sure that the fencing extends to here. Since I'm pretty sure we've got the fencing across everywhere in this area. A phoenix that is located high in the air. Sure. What more information about it can you give me? Because that's not difficult to do. But what would I do with it? What are you envisioning? Also, I have got to put more decoration on this building. I've got to put something here. This is like some scuff marks? Oh, are these like road marks? Oh, that's interesting. That's not really gonna look great, but it's at least something. Have like a sealed chimney entrance there. Like some old vents. A caution barricade just for the hell of it. Let's see how that looks. Changes color according to situations. Okay. Again, that's easy enough to do, but do we know why it's there? This is just a bit much. That doesn't really work. I think the best way to do this might be like that. So then we can just have some tiered stuff. And then I can decorate that with like some pillars, I guess. No, I need something that has a smaller base to it. Otherwise, it's just going to look like it's hanging off the side. What about that? Okay, that kind of works. Okay. And then we just get rid of these. Okay. Okay, that works. Oh yeah, like some cracks. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Really, really sell that whole like ancient look to it. Put that here. Get rid of that. Okay. Uh, we'll put like a ruined statue on top. A couple ruined statues here. Um, that is probably about the best that I can do for decoration. Okay. This doesn't really work up here. I would like to have something up there, though. Some kind of ornamentation. What kind of ornamentation works? What if I just put that up there like a capstone? The color kind of clashes. That blends too well. Again, that's a color clash. What about just a solid purple block? Okay, solid purple block works. That does work. Also don't know why it came to mind. I don't know why, but a griffin skeleton that's friendly could be cool. I don't have an asset for that. Reanimate griffins could be messengers from the old times. Although I don't have anything like an undead griffin. But do I have anything that's like undead and flying? Let's see. I can do a rotting bird. Let's see. I might have something that would work well in that same role, though. Make a Death Knight ride that griffin. I don't have assets for that. Skeletal dancers. I'm getting some ideas. Maybe there could be different graves for the pets. You will not be satisfied until we have pets. Okay. All right, I'm getting some ideas. I want to see how this looks. You can just assume that some of these graves are for pets. In fact, all of them are pets. Every single grave was a beloved animal that died horribly. Every single one of them. Does that help? Okay, I think this works. I think this works all right. Okay. No? All right. Basically anything that was alive here in the necropolis part of the city is going to have been killed. So if there were any pets down here, they have definitely been killed and eaten. So if there's going to be any living pets, they're going to be up in the upper portions of the city. And to be fair, there's no reason that we can't throw a few pets around Wallachia. We can just give them a slow wait, random movement patterns, and just throw out a few. Here's the dog. And you can interact with the dog. Okay. So here's a dog. And we can throw another one here. Little white doggy. And then we can definitely have like a cat hanging out at the graveyard. We'll give a nice black cat. Are there bosses? There are a lot of bosses. Okay, there we go. There are now some pets in Wallachia. Okay. Alright, I think that's good. So now we're going to go for around another half hour before I end stream today. So what I do want to do is have a little scene when you leave the furnace where you run into like Mr. Bones and where you run into Mr. Bones and like the city captain, and you give him the diamond rod, which was with the sealing ritual implements, which he can use to command the undead army. So that's going to be another thing that happens. Where's the gardens? Here's the gardens. Make it so some pets are there, but a mad scientist trying to experiment with one, and you defeat that scientist and free them. Okay. So we're... You know what? We've actually got a lot of ideas flowing right now. Let's actually take a break from this real quick. I'm going to throw some background music on, and we're actually going to spend our time doing a bit of brainstorming. Just let me respond to this message real quick. There we go. Just had to confirm with work. Okay. Okay, good. That's a nice upbeat tune. Cool. Alright, it's brainstorming time. So, the next area we are designing for the game is going to be like jungle, swamp, marsh. So, jungle, swamp, marsh area. So, here are some things that we know about it so far. There is a village of crocodile people, which Cole is providing sprites for. There is also a village of cat people. In the village of cat people is where you will encounter the friendly cat boy. Whatever. Yeah, there we go. The feral, friendly feline, who you have to unferalize through a quest to recruit. So, this is where we're also going to have meet the carton-confined cat boy. This is where you can acquire catnip to defeat cat people. So there's a lot of stuff that's been previously suggested that we can put here. Like meeting the copying cat boy. So what else can we do expanding onto this? Black cat that the mad scientist tested on is immune to the song of the false hydra and has a witch hat on. I'm trying to design for the next area. I basically know everything else that's here in Wallachia. So let's keep our eye toward the future. So what else can we do with our next area? Village of the Crocodile People. This is going to be the next Pepsi portation location. Which does mean we're going to need unlock another type of ammo for Malter Might. I do have some good ideas for Malter Might skills, like Malter's Malt, Coke Toss, something to do with Fizz. We could have it be like Fizzy Shot or something. Malt Shot. Since we're calling them shots, we could make an alcohol reference here as well. Black Witch Cat, since immune to the confusion debuff and immune to being lured. Okay. Enemy ideas. Black Cat Witch. That works. Village of Crocodile is being attacked by the cats. Okay. Village of Crocodile People is under attack by people from the Cat People Village. Okay, good, good, good. Alright, we're starting to throw this around. How else can we expand on this? Black Cat Witch, who is going to be immune to catnip. What else? There's actually not too many previously contributed ideas that I can put in here. But the bacterial enemy that can clone itself, okay. That can be integrated here. Bacterial enemy that can clone itself. We'll put that in here. Black Cat Witch is the reason for the war. Okay, how is it the reason for the war? Every area of the game is basically having like some kind of a really major issue, which is somehow being caused by Coke. Like, the Red Dragon got a hold of Coke and started a massive blizzard, which made things terrible for the whole Tundra region. The False Hydra got empowered because it got into some Coke and was able to break out of its confines and start all this horrible stuff in Wallachia. So, what is the big thing that this Black Cat Witch has actually done? We can use that. So, what has it actually done? Did it just make everybody crazy? Did it use its magic to do some kind of manipulation? Or has there been some deception at work? What is the inciting incident? That's what we're getting at here. I feel like the Black Cat Witch is a refugee from the desert town with the False Hydra. Okay. Manipulation for its ritual. How do we mean? Racism doesn't fit here because it's a goddamn cat. If the only answer you can come up with is racism, think harder. It wants souls to get more power. Okay. So, big picture story. The Black Cat Witch fled Wallachia, but forgot why and settled in the swamp, where it is trying to gather power and needs souls to do that. Okay. Offer souls to... Okay, hold on. One of the big things that we have here is that the root beer gods attack the Pepsi portation grid. Okay. The Black Cat Witch is offering souls to the root beer gods for power. Okay. So it incited a conflict between the crocodile people and the cat people to gather souls. There's 2 black cat witches, one... two black cat witches. One with a galaxy blood-stained robe, refugee, and the other one, the big bad of the region. They often get confused for each other. Okay, but what can we do with that? Like, narratively, what can we do with that? We need to be able to put together... We need a narrative where we can create events. Lost everything and the even god tempted it and made it bad. Okay. Okay. The root beer... The bat has an extra fluffy tail to... Again, you've seen the sprites that we're working with. There's not really anything we can do with that. On top of the fact I'd need to start making custom sprites again, we're still... That doesn't really advance the narrative here. The root beer gods found the black cat witch near death and saved it. How into this idea is the black cat witch? Is the cat like a willing cooperator in this plan? Is it a reluctant participant? Is it bound by some kind of agreement or pact? Has it just been convinced that this is like a necessary thing? Does it believe it's like getting one over on these root beer gods? Is it trying to outplay them? What if the black cat witch that is the refugee forgot the soul things? What do you mean, Aubrey? What do you mean by forget the soul things? Player comes slowly, figure things out, and save Black Cat from evil god, and now it helps you. Okay. Okay. The root beer gods found the black cat witch near death and saved it at the cost of the soul of another. The black cat witch is offering souls to the root beer gods to stay alive and is rewarded with greater power for doing so. So it incited a conflict between the crocodile people and the cat people to gather souls because they refused to help it when it fled to the region. So this gives it specific action and specific motivation against specific targets. Okay. This is reasonable. Let's say it killed its family, then tempted it for revenge to the point the killer as members of two... Let's say it killed its family, then tempted it for revenge, pointing the killer as members from the two village. Okay, I think I understand what you were saying. I think you were saying, let's say the root beer gods killed the family and then tricked it into wanting revenge by suggesting the killer was from the two villagers. I think that's okay, but that's not really going to fit with the desperate refugee story, I think. Either it's something that fled here trying to escape the bad things in Wallachia, or it's something that's already got established roots here that were able to be taken away from it. The two ideas do clash a bit. It acts as one. So the Black Cat Witch fled Wallachia with its family, and then it nearly died, and then the Root Beer Gods killed its family. Maybe the Black Cat stole some books from the Necromancy town and it still exists to... Hold on. Okay. I have already established that there was one Lich Priest left when Mr. Bones died, and that priest then disappeared. What if the Black Cat Witch was the final Lich Priest who fled? Make it so Black Cat's memory is corrupted. So now we're throwing just so much stuff at this. So now we have an evil Black Cat Witch who is motivated by revenge, who is motivated by having its memory messed with, who is motivated by being manipulated and controlled, who is motivated by revenge. If we just keep piling on different ideas, it gets way too complicated and it's hard to produce any kind of cohesive narrative. What we need to do is really hone in on a specific idea and then develop that idea. Otherwise, we're just going to have a cat who's evil for like 10 different reasons, and half of them contradict. Or at least overlap. Can we split this backstory up like with like their twin? You still really want there to be two Black Cat Witches. Okay. Okay, so let me get this straight. So the Black Cat Witch and its twin flee Wallachia as refugees when the False Hydra attacks start. They flee to the marshlands, but once they're there, they forget why they went there because False Hydra ate people that they would have known and remembered. So then they get separated, maybe, or something, and the Root Beer Gods corrupt one, but kill the other, and then they trick the one that's alive that they have already corrupted to convince it that the other one was killed by the people in these villages. So they make the Black Cat Witch want to get revenge on the people in those villages. But also the Black Cat Witch is doing this because it wants power, which it gets from sacrificing souls to the Root Beer Gods. Do you see how this is a little difficult to parse? If we're just going to end up with the story of, oh, they're insane, then almost none of the rest of it matters. If there's not, like, an actual motivation behind their actions, it doesn't matter how crazy the backstory is. Because none of it is reliable. It's an unreliable narrator. None of it's going to be meaningful. It has to be more limited. I feel like it's gone too far. But you save them. Why? They're clearly insane and dangerous. I don't see what the motivation here to help a person in that situation would be. I feel like the whole thing is barely workable. To defend against the evil god. But why would we believe that there's an evil god? If our only evidence of there being an evil god is a cat that's going insane, why would we care? Why would we trust this? I just don't see the real... I don't see the chain of events. The current story is twin black cat witches flee the lock. Idea everyone in town is going and see. You've just added a whole nother element on top of this, Aubrey. You've added a whole nother layer of complexity. A whole nother reason that all this stuff is happening. We don't need more motivational forces. We need to refine what we already have. Otherwise, this whole thing's just going to be a mess. Like, we're trying to make a stew. And I'm saying that we need to, like, grab the seasonings to make what's already in the stew as good as we can. And you guys are, like, grabbing more stuff off of the shelves and still throwing it into the stew. So, twin black cat witches flee Wallachia. I don't... Okay. On a macro level, we've got twin black cat witch refugee cultist amnesiac insane revenge wanting magical evil corrupted cats. I mean, we're basically already just leaving an area where the entire bit of the story is dedicated around people's minds being messed with. And then we're moving to area with apparently twin black witch, refugee cultist, amnesiac, insane, revenge-wanting, magical, evil, corrupted cats working for evil root beer gods who want to make two villages fight, and also the villagers are all insane, and also the souls are for the root beer gods, but also the cats are insane. I mean, does that make sense to anybody? Does this line make sense to anyone? It's doable. Like, I could represent this. I could turn this into game. It's just gonna be an absolute mess. If we want this to be an absolute mess, I can do that. Like, that's not hard to do. And if that's what people want, that's the way we can move forward. I just want to make sure it's... I just want to make clear first that going this route, it will be an absolute mess. I just want to make sure that that's acknowledged. I'm trying to just make it less messy. I'm trying, but we keep getting ideas thrown out. If we... Okay. I seriously think that the madness part is where the whole thing falls apart, Aubrey. That's the problem. I don't think it works to have a character being manipulated who is also insane. That's where I think the entire concept falls apart. It's difficult to accomplish anything if you have a minion that acts and thinks irrationally. Make him not insane. So the rapier gods are not eldritch. They can be eldritch, but the thing about eldritch gods is that eldritch gods don't really scheme. They creep along. They spread more organically, like a cancer. Their influence slowly spreading and increasing. Eldritch gods and like clever schemes and plans and diabolical, specific orderly actions intended to seize ever greater control don't mix as well in fiction. Because your truly eldritch powers don't have any need to do that and have no concern or interest in the kinds of like worldly things that kind of plotting could actually get you. Cultists of eldritch gods certainly can do that sort of thing. But ultimately, there is usually a more worldly motive, a more specific goal that they are working towards in the service of their god, but not necessarily at the direction of their god. Okay. Let's work this again. So, the big picture story. We have twin magical cats fled Wallachia as refugees when the attacks started. Remove the death threat. I think the refugee works, though. I think the refugee actually leads well into, like an inciting incident and a motivating factor. And I think that's actually a really good angle. Twin magical cats fled Wallachia of refugees when the attacks started. They sought help among the people dwelling in the marshlands, but the people turned them away. So they didn't get the help they needed. Desperate, alone, and starving, the root beer gods offered to save them. And we're going to put some parentheses here because we're going to have to figure out, like, the cost of this exchange. Offered to save them. The twin cats... Are the cats still together, or did we separate them? Did one die? Did one cat choose to let the other be sacrificed to the root beer gods to save itself? Now that's a story angle. The treason of family. That could be an angle to go with. Remove sense of smell and touch for each twin. That's not something I can represent in the game narrative well. Like, I can't have a sprite that represents that. I can't do much with I have no sense of touch mechanically. Yeah, save them for the souls of the villagers, yes. So the twin cats... Okay, so we're just absolutely insisting that both cats are alive then. Okay. So both cats are alive, I guess. The twin cats incited conflict between the villages. This is absolutely not why the false Hydra happened. No, not at all. I am not trying to tie these things together. I'd have to make so many points of intersection to make the two narratives connect if that's the case. I would have to spend hours parsing through lines of dialogue and fixing things. So the twin cats incite a conflict between the villages for revenge and harvest the souls of the dead to empower the root beer gods. If they can't deliver the souls, they die. Okay. Does this work? Twin magical cats fled Wallachia as refugees when the attack started. They sought help among the people dwelling in the marshlands, but the people turned them away. Desperate, alone, and starving, the root beer gods offered to save them. The twin cats incited a conflict between the villages for revenge, and to harvest the souls of the dead to empower the root beer gods. And if they can't deliver the souls, they will die. Do we like that? Is that decent? Got a lot better. I think this is a lot better. So, when the root beer gods initially offered to save them, did that initial rescue have a price attached to it? Above and beyond, like, the delivering of souls now? Like, was there an immediate cost that was associated with it? Or did the gods, like, present this as Like, I can save you now, but you will owe me a favor in the future, sort of thing. Like, did they come transactional immediately? Or did they come to collect a debt later? That's what we need to decide now. They mutated. Why? Why do we need, like, a mutated? What does that add that's not already here? How did they mutate? What does that mean? What does that look like? How did it change that? Was a mutation necessary to save them? Or was it just something Okay. Okay, I don't think I'm quite following what this is adding to the scenario. I don't know. Root beer gods offered to save them. Okay, so hold on. Marsh area is a great place to add a hookshot mechanic, which has also been suggested. So this is where we can add a hookshot mechanic to the project. That works. That works fine. Prices when they die, their soul becomes the god's slave. Okay. Offers to save them on the condition that when they die, their souls will belong to the root beer gods. But what if instead of this they can't deliver, they die? What if the gods promised that if they deliver enough souls, the cat souls will be freed? So that gives another motivation on top of revenge without contradicting anything. And this could help to drive their action as well. If they are acting under the belief that they are simultaneously punishing people who like wronged them, but also that they're going to be saving themselves from a terrible fate as well. That's pretty damn Faustian right there. That's got a fantastic, like, deal with the devil feel to it, I think. Add a hookshot mechanic to cross areas of the swamp. Okay. Alright, so I think that's actually pretty good. So the next area is going to be like jungle, swamp, marsh, Instead of designing this area, let's start work on the overworld. I can extend by a few more minutes. Cats named Sayori and Sora. And where have you taken those names from? I don't mind the names, but if it's a direct reference, I at least want to be aware that I'm making it. So... we've already gotten, like a delta. Oh, from Swamp. Yeah, that's good. Okay. So, a swamp. Alright, so where on the world map do we want a swamp? My first thought is to add... some stuff here. Sort of keeping with, like, the general shape of a fish. We can extend the fins out to this area. Let's make... behind the tail? Okay, you want to add stuff all the way over here. Okay, we can do that. How do I want to represent this? We'll add a few smaller islands like that. This is height level 33. And that goes up to height level 30. Okay. So this is going to be the basic shape of the marshlands, then. From lush forest slowly to swamp. Alright. So, how do I represent this? Okay. We can add another... No, not like that. Forest cats live swamp, crocodile live a boundary, there's a cave where the cats are. Okay. I do have a mountain range. So what I could do is have... like the mountain range continue across like this, so we could have a cave connecting the two different parts. Okay. Make the cave a dungeon. Yeah, exactly. Just like this. Yeah, it'll all look small from the outside, since this is all just, like, overworld stuff. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Now we need, like, a cave. There we go. Okay. So we have caves on either side. Add a few pools. Like that. Okay. I think that works. So now we will decorate the water a little bit. Just with like some shoals. There we go. There we go. A few deep water sections around. A few more shoals. Okay. Just like that. A few more bits of dark water. Okay. 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 So now I think we need a couple of villages. Okay. I think that works. Let's go see how it looks on the game map, and then I think that'll be it for today's stream. There's the dog. I need to make them move slower. Alright, let's see how this all looks. Okay. So we come to one side of this area. We have caves, we have oases, we have villages. It's 27... 27... Right there. Oh. What the hell layer are you on? Oh. Wow, I just had, like, a total masking layer over this entire damn thing. That is actually nuts. Okay. And then higher up. Whoops. We put that there. Okay. There we go. Just like that. And just like that. Masking layer here, here. And a masking layer here. And a masking layer there. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's so much better. When's the next stream? I do RPG Maker streams every Sunday morning. Okay. Alright. I think I like this. I think this is good enough. Yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Uh, I mostly spent today testing, which is what I expected to do, but we also got some good brainstorming in. Um, and next time we will be designing. Uh, I really like how this looks. Next time we will be basically yeah, Saturdays Trivia, Sundays RPG. Yep, that's the current schedule. Next week I'll be working on actually the Under City. Perfectly good. I think that's enough for now. I am hungry. It's been 3.5 hours. I'm gonna go eat. Thank you all so much for watching. I will see you all on the next one. And it is time to make the sound to summon the end of the stream. Wow, 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 wow.